I didn't want to have to make this video, but you guys have been asking for it. Today's video is going to be an introduction into Rell Seas, a One Piece game I'm excited for. It's mostly going to be a quick overview for people that don't know anything about the game in order to help them get into it. God, why did you leave me? Without further ado, let's get into the video. Why did you leave that in the video, bro? Cut it out. The first thing I'm going to cover is going to be the combat. You may be wondering whether or not the combat has systems to it. I'm going to have one of the Rell brothers answer that.
This has so much systems to it.
So here's a simple air combo. Pretty much every anime game has air combos, but you can see from the gameplay, this one seems a lot different. There are different ways to end combos or extend them if you want.
Well, so 1, 2, 3, kick them up. This is the force slam. 1, 2, 3. Now that's just a push away. You really want to get familiar with how to use this. It's really easy and simple to do.
You may be worried about getting stuck in infinite combos like some other games.
Nah, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. Matter of fact, I'm blind in my left eye and 43% blind in my right eye. I don't see much of nothing.
Thankfully, they added parrying and evading to help you break out of those infinite combos. You can see the X on screen is the evade and the Q is the parry. You can see when he gets hit into the wall, he gains priority in order to counter so he doesn't get stuck in a loop. Here I'm going to have one of the developers tell us whether or not the melee speed is fast or not.
This is not fast.
Thanks, bro. Weapons are going to be sorted into either light, medium, or heavy. Depending on which category it's in will determine its attack speed. Heavier weapons attack slower but have increased range to make up for it. They also have clashing if you attack at the same time, which is always a nice mechanic to have. So you are limited to 8 jumps. I don't know if you're going to be able to level it up. I doubt it, for balancing reasons. I found this afterwards. Apparently only 2 of the fighting styles are going to have airwalking, which seems like kind of a big deal. Here's what all those mechanics look like when you put them together. Now you're going to notice he uses Soru during the fight. I think it's interesting they didn't mention it in the actual video. Maybe it's still being refined at the time of the recording. Here's a quick look at the menus for the game. Here you can see some of the UI. Looks really good, except the only thing I would change would be the font for Seas. I don't know why it's wrapped in rope. It's kind of weird. So one thing I'm really excited for is the character slots. None of the other games have this as far as I know. The other One Piece games. And I don't know if it's because you can't remove your fruit or what, but having multiple slots kind of implies there are certain actions you can't undo, or something like that, at least to me. Otherwise, why would you make a new character when you could just switch your fruit or change your weapon? Right here you can see you actually get to pick a starting weapon, which is kind of a first as well. If you look at the UI here, you can see there are slots for weapons. In some of the other clips you can see that there's a fruit spot there, so maybe you can have 3 things equipped including swords, guns, and fruit. There's also a transponder snail implying either proximity chat or possibly sending text directly to other players. You can see the primary attack is different depending on the gun, and each gun has to reload as well. I did touch on melee weapons earlier, but I want to go a little more in depth on all the different types of weapons, including sneak peeks to some we've already seen. These are most of the weapons I found. A lot of them I got off Twitter. Sure, there's more, I'm just not going to keep looking. So these weapons are pretty cool because they're based on the Sea Beast. I actually don't think they're going to be drops. I think you're going to get items that you use to craft them because there is a crafting system. And here's a better look at the guns. So the gun's primary attacks when you're up close don't consume any ammo. It's like a melee system for the weapons, which is kind of interesting, especially if you run out of ammo, you're still able to fight even when they push you. Here are some of the finishers they showed off before I get to the fruit. Quick disclaimer here, for legal reasons, your mama ho. And all information presented in the video is subject to change. They actually said they're already gonna redo a lot of the things in the 3rd video, so. Thinking you don't care didn't ask, plus ratio. And to that I'd reply, blocked. So you're gonna be able to deflect projectiles, like, bullets back, but you're going to need a weapon. Like, you can't do it with your fist. Just based on this gameplay, you can already see how sweaty some players are gonna get. So here they explain that every fruit that's a Zoan or a Logia is going to have melee attacks, which is really cool, and a good way to balance a lot of the fruit across the board. Some of the other One Piece games kind of experimented with this, but they usually only give it to like Ice and maybe a couple others. I know you guys are just salivating at the mouth to get to the part with Devil Fruit, or I guess they're called God Fruit for legal reasons. And here they're mentioning how in other games when you're a Logia user you can't be hit unless they have Haki, but in this game they're going to balance it by giving you like a bar that depletes while you get hit. in order to make all weapons viable. I think it's also going to be really good for balancing, especially early on, before people get hockey. You can see here that the fruit abilities are actually built into the combat.
So every single ability can be reflected, alright?
What? Oh, my bad, my mic was unmuted. I gotta remember to cut that part out. That wall is supposed to represent hockey, so I'm guessing you're gonna be able to punch back pretty much any projectile, especially like fruit abilities. So you already saw the flame fruit, but I'm going to show any teasers or sneaks that we've received for the other fruit, as I name off the ones that are confirmed.
It works with everything.
First
Like
off
the
is
up
leopard,
tails, down tail.
then there's
Now we got
venom.
venom.
This one actually seems to have multiple forms. Of course, lightning actually has a form in this one, which is kind of a first. You can see he's actually fighting the soul fruit, which is really cool, because that one's never been given a form either. Then there's the phoenix fruit, which is always a favorite. Then there's paw and sand. Next we have the light fruit. Here's falcon. Then we have the Ope Ope or Op Op fruit. This one's just an animation of one of the moves. Here's early footage of Doe. Here are some animations for the wolf fruit. Pretty sure these are for smoke. Here are some Allosaurus animations. And here's a picture of the giraffe. Buddha. For some reason I forgot, but here's the dragon. Honestly, there are a lot more fruit that are confirmed but don't really have any sneaks, or I haven't found them. I'll just put a picture up now on screen. Now on to the miscellaneous part. So because the islands are supposed to be pretty big, they have mounts in this game, which I'm putting on screen right now. Bro, tell me you don't want to ride a crab.
I don't want to ride a crab.
What the hell? The ships look like they're going to be pretty big. I'm going to put some images up. Looks like there'll be a lot of customization as well. They did say on Twitter that their inspiration was going to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Sea of Thieves. This image specifically makes me think we're going to be able to change the sails and the masthead in the front. You can see this ship is the same as the other one with more pieces added on. As I mentioned previously, there's going to be crafting, and of course you need materials to craft, so I'm going to show a bunch of the wildlife now. And on top of all these animals, they're also adding fishing, which I'm super excited for. They said the fish you catch are going to be used for crafting or eating, or I guess selling as well, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if it'll be a good money source. Probably not. Bro, fishing is never a good money source. I don't know why they have to keep doing fishing so dirty. So as I end the video, I'm just gonna play some finishers, or I guess executions. I don't know what you'd call them. I already know I'm gonna remember to add some stuff after after I'm done editing, but you know I didn't really want this video to go too long, and I don't normally do this type of content anyways. If you enjoyed this video, I don't care. When the game releases, I'm definitely going to be making videos on it, but obviously not in this style. More of just gameplay and funny moments. If I could leave you with one final message, it would probably be...
This has so much systems to it.